2 minutes to the distinguished Vice Chair of the Subcommittee on Readiness, the gentlelady from New York, Ms. Stefanik.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in support of the conference report to H.R. 1735, the FY16 NDAA, and thank you to Chairman Thornberry for his leadership, guidance, and tireless efforts on this imperative piece of legislation. Just this past week, the major headline coming out of Afghanistan was the Taliban seizure of the prominent town of Kunduz. This serves as yet another reminder to us all that this region of the world remains unstable and brings about challenges to our national security. The FY16 NDAA provides our nation's armed forces with the resources they need to defend our national security. Since September 11th, the Army's 10th Mountain Division out of Fort Drum, which I am honored to represent, has been the most actively forward-deployed division to Iraq and Afghanistan. Yet sadly, just this past month, Specialist Kyle Gilbert, a soldier from the 10th Mountain Division, died in Afghanistan while serving our nation. In New York's North Country, our community and our military families understand what fighting for our nation's liberties and freedoms truly means. So when I express my support for the NDAA, the tools it provides, and how it enables our armed forces to defend our nation from organizations who create volatility and terrorism around the world, I am speaking for my constituents, those servicemen and women who are overseas right now in highly kinetic combat zones, fighting to protect you and me, our families, and our nation. Colleagues, the FY16 NDAA allows for our armed forces to plan and operate according to what we as a nation have asked of them. We must support the NDAA to maintain our readiness and provide for our military. And as leaders here today, we know we cannot continue to task our troops with doing more with less as defense sequestration cuts remain. The conference report to FY16 NDAA provides relief from these harmful defense sequestration cuts, but more must be done. But let me remind my colleagues across the aisle, sequestration was proposed by this administration, signed into law by this president, and passed by a previous Congress. When the FY16 National Defense...
Expired.
Can I have 1 minute?
I'll yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
The gentleman is recognized for 30 seconds.
When the NDAA comes before the President's desk, I hope he realizes a veto threat could threaten the safety of our nation's service members and our country's defense, and I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting and vote for the NDAA. Thank you.
The gentleman from New York.